If blokes didn't give in to their emotional urges as frequently, they would have far higher levels of testosterone. Most grapplers are destroying their metabolism. They're destroying their brain function, and they're operating at such a low standard. And the crazy thing is, that is their ceiling. That is what they think is normal, when it's not. I'm going to be talking about 2 changes in which you can make to have the maximum amount of impact in your life. And we're talking specifically about sleep in this video, and we're talking about strength training, and I'm going to be talking about the typical loser 1.0 grappling mindset on both of them, and the reframed 2.0 mindset on each. For those that are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Paul Green. I'm a former British paratrooper, Special Forces Support Group operator. Now, I coach grapplers online that want to improve their longevity within Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm also a purple belt. I've got 7 years of grappling experience. I trained at Kingsway for a couple of months. Jobs are good, right? And as you can see, people with different injuries, different issues, I'm helping with on my longevity program. The cost of getting this wrong, the cost of giving into your emotional urges hundreds of times a day. Metabolism, shit. Brain health and memory, terrible. Mental health and mood, which is the reason we're doing jiu-jitsu. Unfortunately, jiu-jitsu is very potent, very powerful at this, but it's filling a void which could be absolutely massively improved, right? Bone and muscle strength, testosterone levels, that flame that fucking ignites our soul and gives us energy for free and motivation and desire to do more things in our lives, achieve great things, do more. Not just for ourselves, do more with our family. Low testosterone levels means can't be asked. Most grapplers have low testosterone because their mindset is miles off the mark. And I'm talking specifically about these 2 things today, right, that have the most impact. Hopefully you can start to fucking turn it around, lads. Heart health, immunity to illnesses, and athletic performance. If you're constantly getting ill every few weeks, every couple of months, I haven't been ill for like 18 months. Just doesn't happen. Right, and then you got the fucking quick fix solution. Or, I feel like this, so I want to inject something into my arse to give me the solution for that one thing. However, I still think, and I still have the habits of somebody that does all of this stuff. So I'm going to take peptide to improve my metabolism. But I'm still going to conduct myself like that 1.0 loser. Do you know what I mean? And it just doesn't work. The peptide won't work. The TRT won't work. The TRT might give you improved testosterone levels, but you're still conducting yourself like a loser. So as soon as you stop taking it, you're going to go boom, slingshot straight back to your old version of yourself. And that's what these videos are all about. Giving you an awareness on where you're thinking, the way you problem solve is potentially fucking absolutely terrible to where you want to be. Because there's no doubt you're actually an ambitious man. You want to improve. You want to develop. You want to grow. You not just for yourself, but for your family, for your missus, for your kids, all the rest of it, professionally. Improve your leadership, right? So we have the infection, the 1.0 grappler mindset, and this is riddled. This riddles most blokes on the mat have this, right? They'd rather give in to their emotional urges at every point. If there's food there, they're going to eat it. If there's a fizzy drink there, they're going to drink it. If there's booze on a weekend, they're going to drink it. If there's weed, they're going to drink it. If there's online games, they're going to play it. Everything is maximum hormones all day, every single day. So they're living in the now rather than thinking, well, what's actually going to improve my life? They are that infected by this mindset. They can't have any sort of vision into the future and think, well, what about if what I do now can actually benefit the next day? Or what if what I do now can actually benefit the next week or the next month? So with regards to sleep, staying up watching series that increase your cortisol, which is stress. Series will purposefully, you watch a great series, like I was watching Dexter a couple of weeks ago, not on a night, but I was basically at the end of the series, at the end of the episode, they're actually programmed to spike your cortisol. So you're like, and then they end the show, and then you want to watch the next one. Cortisol and sleep don't go well together. It's just going to keep you up for an extra couple of hours. Like, you're not going to be able to drop off to sleep. Playing online games, obviously. I used to be an online gaming addict. Like, proper loved it. And I still do love it, and I can't wait to play them again at some point. But it's probably going to be during the day on a weekend. Same thing. You know what I mean? If you've got stuff to do next day, playing online games the night before, you are absolutely fucking mental. Staying up till 2, it just doesn't end. Now you're adding not just cortisol, you're adding adrenaline, you're adding fear, all of the stuff of online games. The same sort of stuff as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Shambolic idea before you go to bed. It's not only going to affect how quick you drop off, but it's also going to affect the amount of hours you get and the quality of those hours. And again, the reality of the situation, whether you're a man or not, you are emotionally driven. You are driven and addicted to your high dopamine, high stimulation decision making. And, we grapple. We're men. We're filled with, we can fucking bang anybody out. We can fight. We can, all of this stuff. Great, sound. But deep down, you're still an absolute scumbag. You know what I mean? Realistically, let's not beat around the bush here. You are. And this is the thing. I've managed to pull myself away from that. You know what I mean? And about a year, I started pulling myself away from it. I used to love all this shit. And I still do. But I just do it in a way that's not going to fucking ruin my life. Right? And all it is a quick fix trap. So if you're going to do these things before bed, you're going to go to bed thinking, well, you know what? I'm going to stay up for an extra couple of hours, sound, I can have a couple of cans of White Monster the next morning and feel okay, right? But physiologically, you know for a fact, you're not stupid, you know for a fact that that is a terrible thing to do, but you do it. It's not going to help you build fucking muscle. It's not going to help you build strength. Sleep will improve your memory. You're going to be able to absorb sponge information from your coach and practice it more effectively. You know what I mean? You probably feel days where you're on the mats and you just got brain fog. You feel like absolute shit. You just can't take any information in. It's because you're living like this. Like living like an absolute scumbag and like a teenager. Do you know what I mean? And it's funny because it's that bad. And we grapplers, and I say we because I mean myself as well, at the start of my jiu-jitsu journey, I'm the same person. I'm completely consumed by it. And I used to say, well, you know what? I'm a grappler. None of this stuff matters. Amateur hour, lads. Amateur hour. You know what I mean? And yeah, I've talked about the memory, the brain function, the brain cognition, ability to problem solve fast. Jiu-jitsu is a thinking sport, and our ability to problem solve fast is literally what separates like the best grapplers in the world and average grapplers. Making a decision fast, right? And playing online games every night and watching Netflix series every night instead of getting an extra 2 or 3 hours sleep is absolute amateur hour. Emotional thinking. You're living in your emotional brain, and it's a very feminine thing to do, even though I'm speaking specifically to lads. Like, I know I'm ruthless here, lads, but it's just because I care. I'm doing it from a place where I fucking care, and I want you to realise, like, whoa, I'm making some terrible decisions here. So the reality of the situation is, how you currently feel, if you're doing all of these things, is such a low ceiling for yourself. When you feel normal, you're probably still operating at like 30%. So what that says is you've got like an instantaneous 3x in the amount of energy, motivation, muscle growth, strength, focus, memory. You've got probably a 2 or a 3x on that if you just did these two things properly. And that's the really, really bad thing, because you get to a point where your ceiling has been so low for so long, you think that's the standard, that's normal, that's how you're meant to feel, and it's not. I wake up from fucking 5 minutes in to my day, I feel amazing. Right, look, right, I've literally woke up about an hour ago and I'm fucking sending it on a video now. Do you know what I mean? I feel fucking great. Look at me. I look great as well. It's because I'm just doing some of the basic shit to a really high standard. Basics done well. And yeah, you feel like shit for a few years, and you start taking shit, chemicals. Man, let's have a peptide. Look, I can say this from experience. I was one of them people. I had an elbow injury, and I was like, oh, I need to take peptides because jiu-jitsu. Fuck off. It's amateur hour. If you think you need a fucking chemical because your decision making has been that terrible, you're strongly mistaken. Right? TRT, oh, I want more energy, I want more muscle size. Well, fucking go to sleep earlier than you fool. Embarrassing, lads. Honestly, it's amateur hour stuff. And why this frustrates the life out of me is because you're a fucking grapplers. You're doing a thinking sport. You've got resilience, mental resilience. You're thinking under pressure extremely well on the mat. But as soon as you step off the mat, you turn into an absolute mentalist. Honestly. Yes, these two things go hand in hand, right? And you should view each as equally as important as the other. And yeah, always battling against the poor habits. Like I said, you could take all the peptides, you could take all the supplements, you could take all of this, all of that. But again, it's the poor habits is the reason why. The reason why you're taking pre-workout before you hit jiu-jitsu is because your energy is an absolute shambles because of how you live your life, how you think, your beliefs, how you problem solve off the mats. It is not because you need pre-workout, you need supplements. It's because you are living like 1.0 grappling mentalist, right? So the good thing is, right, is to get yourself in a position where you're absolutely thriving. You just need to change your mindset and your beliefs on a few things. So instead of thinking sleep's boring or I'd rather stay up and play games, think logically. Think what is going to benefit my muscles, my strength, my bone density, my memory, my immunity to illness. What is actually the right thing to do for me personally and to maintain my own personal standards, but also then that projection onto everybody that I associate myself with. I've never known one way to make you feel like shit instantaneously than not having enough sleep. Like, you could, you're just a worse person to be around all day because you've had less sleep. Like, you have less ability to cope with stress, like less morale. You're not smiling as much during the day. You're going to be argumentative, which increases cortisol, which reduces sleep the next day. More argumentative, just more inclined to make a stupid decision to fill the void from that sleep. So you're going to wake up and you're like, I want shit food, I want shit drinks, because boom, 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 your body's in survival mode. So that 1.0 brain is running rampant in your head because it knows it's got you. It's got your fucking soul because it knows that you've just had a stupid sleep. So then it goes, right, big lad, let's make some fucking stupid decisions today. It all starts with a fucking banging sleep, lads. 7 to 9 hours, closer to the 9. Once you do that, you have the foundation set for the rest of the day where you're going to make way better decisions. You're going to absorb stress a hell of a lot better. You're going to be able to think more effectively, problem solve quicker. You're going to have more creativity, better memory, more testosterone, more motivation. Who doesn't want that? And it's because you are not thinking logically on a night. The 2.0 grappler thinks logically. The 1.0 grappler thinks emotionally. And the beauty of this is we're not talking about 10 tactics, eating healthy and all of these things. We're not talking about them. We're just talking about the two foundational things: lifting heavy weights with intensity, with tempo, and with correct form, sticking to a logical structure, and prioritizing sleep in exactly that same manner. For example, we have... One sec, let me just check the next slide. Yeah, I'll talk about it on the next slide. So, it doesn't get any more simple. But trying to tell somebody that is highly emotionally driven to do the logical thing, it's a hard sell. And most grapplers won't watch this video, and, but at the end of the day, it's fine, because I know I'm right on this. With regards to this, right? Because we've grappled. I've grappled for 7 years, and I don't have any intention of stopping at any point in my life, and I'm sure you don't either. But you can fully understand that we need to have a significant amount of logic in our lives in order for us to be able to grapple for a longer period of time. We can't simply get away with emotional thinking every single day for the rest of our lives and expect to be on the mats. There's just no chance of that happening, right? So that's what this channel is about, right? Bringing logic into the equation when it is needed most, whether that is injuries, whether that is... Definitely an injury is a perfect example of the ultimate where that logic serves you as a man. But then you need to learn from that, build on that, and bring it into your life after the injury as well. Use it as a learning curve. So what I do, straight away, both of them, weightlifting and sleep, get treated with the same amount of respect. They do the same thing. If I go to the gym and have a shit sleep, I know I'm not going to get as much gains from my training session. If I go to jiu-jitsu and I get a shit sleep, I know I'm not going to remember the techniques, because my brain is literally rewiring as I sleep. My muscles are rewiring as I sleep. So what I mean specifically by this is, before a weightlifting session or before a jiu-jitsu session, 3 hours before that, I'm thinking about how I'm going to fuel to make sure my performance is very good. So I'm thinking about hydration. I'm thinking about easily digestible carbohydrates. So fueling high performance, hydration, carbohydrates, right? Before sleep, I'm thinking reduce cortisol. So get rid of this. Like a few hours before, stop. Like, you don't have to stop going on your phone 2 or 3 hours beforehand, but you need to be very selective over what you're watching. Whether that be watching the worst thing you could ever watch before bed is porn. Then you've got to think, because it's just literally an absolute fucking injection of dopamine, all of the fucking sick hormones that you get from crack cocaine. Absolutely embarrassing. Don't do that shit. And then you've got social media, which is just dopamine. You've got having conversations on WhatsApp or whatever that are high stress, having arguments, back and forth with your mates, having massive debates. Again, cortisol stress. Pre-sleep, 3 hours, you want to start thinking of ways to reduce your stress levels, whether that's going out for a walk, whether that is, reading a book, whether that's watching a very calm, gentle documentary, not like high fucking dopamine, watching a comedy before you go to bed or a horror film before you go to bed. It's like you're increasing your stress. Series is, like I've said earlier on, the program to take you on a fucking emotional roller coaster, keep it addictive, same as jiu-jitsu, right? So I'm thinking about that, reducing my cortisol, just as much as I'm thinking about pre-gym, fueling high performance. Post-gym, I'm thinking recovery. So I'm thinking carbohydrates, protein, hydration. Post-sleep, I'm thinking about, so like when I wake up, I'm thinking about keeping my brain in an active state for as long as possible. So when you wake up, your brain is on full send, right? Your brain is in absolute peak condition. Not as soon as you wake up, maybe 10, 15 minutes after. So I'm thinking, how can I promote that? How can I maximize me in my best brain state of the day when you've not spent any brain points. So I'll get up, I'll go outside, I'll just get some fucking sunlight or some fresh air in my face for 5-10 minutes. I'm going to write my notes. I'm basically write my video. So the first thing I do is, the most important thing in my day is make this video. So priority number one, bang, get the YouTube video done. I'll think for about 5-10 minutes. I'm like, right, what's the title going to be? And then I'll go away, put the slides together and stuff like that. So I'm in an active state. It's like think, do, right? And I say this word active because the moment you open your phone on a morning, you're in a reactive state. Somebody else has made that video and you're reacting to it. Messages, you're reacting to somebody else's messages. You are living a life at the most important part of your day that is reactive instead of active. It's like, what is the most important thing I need to do today, right? Not watch, look at your messages, look at your videos, look at more dopamine on social media. That is not you as a man with the highest possible brain function because you've just had a fucking great sleep doing the most productive thing at the most productive time of the day. It's not. So I say as long as possible. I'm not doing it for more than an hour or 2 hours, but I'm really trying hard to not get sucked into conversations on my phone, not get sucked into all of that stuff, because that's somebody else's creation. This is my moment on a morning is where I like to create. I like to think and I do the most important task of the day. You can't do when you're spending brain points at your most important part of the day reacting to other shit. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I do. If you won the war against your emotional urges, and realistically, I know you can sit here and say this is fucking brutal, but it's true, lads. It's fucking true. You would literally feel so much better. And I'm talking within tomorrow, would you feel better? Within a couple of days, you would feel so much better. You know, grapplers are repulsed by the idea of regular weightlifting sessions and sticking to a structure. That's emotional urges. That's that 1.0 creature grappler sucking you into the cesspit of mediocrity. Do you know what I mean? A more effective grappler, when you get this right, logic, you bring logic as a foundation, you're going to be a more effective grappler, you're going to be a better husband, a better leader, a better father, and a fucking better man. Testosterone's going to be absolutely fucking flying. Not our fucking estrogen. Because you're acting like this. Lads, obviously a lot to take in there. I appreciate you sticking around. But my program is the longevity program. And we instill this to a very high standard at the earliest possible part of the program. It's not always about instilling 20 different tactics from the get-go. Sometimes it's about instilling the most potent single tactic and then adding another one. Just depends on you as an individual and where you are at in your journey. And this program comes in and adds to it. So it's a systematic, one-to-one physical and mental resilience coaching program for grapplers that are finished with thinking short term, that are finished with this emotional thinking, and then they want to think long term. That's the longevity program. The link is in the description to book onto a call with me. We will have a conversation and we will see whether you are a good fit for the program. That's it from me, gentlemen. I will see you tomorrow.